What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our SEC football channel. Our 2019 college football schedule previews continue with the Texas A&M Aggies. A lot of people have been asking for Texas A&M, a team that is really hyped up for the 2019 season, and I think they are overhyped. Let me begin by saying I understand the money that they put into their facilities. They bring in Jimbo Fisher. Their recruiting is off the charts. This program is headed in the right direction. This program, if they continue, will be competing for national championships in the very near future. But I don't think 2019 is going to be that year. I think it's at least going to take one more season. One reason why is because of all that they lose. They lose really across the board. They lose a ton of talent. Mond is back at quarterback. They have all their receivers back. Other than that, they have big losses at every other position. Travion Williams, one of the more underrated running backs in recent SEC history, is gone. And he really carried the load for them last year. Don't really have much experience at running back besides him. He's gone. Again, defense loses several key players, 3 on the offensive line. I mean, this team really got hit hard with players leaving this past season. So you look at 2019, and I think it's going to be, the Texas A&M fans, I think, are going to be disappointed if they're expecting this team to compete for a playoff spot. And that seems to be what I'm getting based off of some of the comments I've seen from other people. And the hype, I think, is because of what they did to NC State in the bowl game, a team that was overrated, and because they have Jimbo Fisher, and because of the recruiting class they have coming in. And there's a lot of hype around this program, this team, and I've seen them ranked in the top 10 in some early preseason polls. I think this is a top 25 team, but nowhere near a top 10 team. That's just my personal opinion. So you've got all that they lost, which is a pretty big deal. And even if they're a good team, even if they're a really good team, it's still not going to be a great year, in my opinion, because of what you see on your screen. This schedule is brutal. And I'm going to be ranking the schedules, giving you the toughest schedules in college football. I have not finished that yet. As I continue to go through these teams, I will be doing that. But I think Texas A&M has to land in the top 5, maybe even the toughest schedule in all of college football. When you talk about Clemson on the road in the non-conference, that's the toughest non-conference game that any team in the country will have to face. Clemson, arguably the best team in the country, and they have to play them on the road. So it doesn't get any tougher than that. Good news is you have Texas State, Lamar, and UTSA as the other 3 non-conference games. So there are 3, pretty easy wins on the schedule. But then you look at this SEC schedule. You've got Alabama at home. They're probably not going to beat Alabama. So you'd kind of rather just go ahead and play that game on the road and take your loss and maybe bring in a team to have a team at home that you might have a chance to beat, like perhaps LSU. But no, they face LSU on the road, Georgia on the road. So you're looking at 4 games where Texas A&M is going to be a pretty big underdog, you would think. And Mississippi State's at home. That's good. South Carolina's at home. Auburn's at home. So you have some good games there at home. Those will be big. Arkansas is a team that almost beat Texas A&M last year. That's turned into quite a rivalry there in that neutral site game. So that could be a tough game. They're going to be better. Ole Miss is going to be a pretty good team. They face them on the road. So this schedule is just really brutal. Again, I don't think anyone in the country has 4 games tougher than what Texas A&M has when you talk about Clemson, Alabama, Georgia, and LSU. And how about Georgia and LSU back-to-back road games to close out the season? We can give them those easy wins, though. Texas State, Lamar, UTSA, I think those are easy wins. Then you go down the rest of this schedule, and you look for that next tier of games. And again, I don't think Texas A&M is on that level with Alabama, on that level with Georgia. I don't think they just get a pass, an automatic win over a team like Arkansas or even Ole Miss, because that game's on the road. Now, I would expect them to probably win those games, and I probably would expect them to beat Mississippi State at home, maybe Auburn at home, South Carolina at home. So I think it'll be a pretty good year, but I don't think it's going to be a great year. And again, you look at Clemson, Alabama, Georgia, LSU. I think best case scenario is you win 1. You win 1 of those 4 games. I do not see them winning 2 out of those 4 games. They're just too tough of games. Texas A&M, again, is going to be so young this year. I think you get one of those wins, get one big win, and win the rest of your games. That's best case scenario. So I think 9-3 is probably about as good as it's going to get for Texas A&M in 2019. And on the flip side, you lose all 4 of those games, which is very likely. And you could also lose to Auburn, or a road game against Ole Miss, or Mississippi State, or South Carolina. These teams are going to be good. So I think you could see this team potentially fall to 6 wins. So I'm thinking between 6 and 9 wins. If I was trying to narrow it down, I'd probably say 7 or 8 wins. I think 7 or 8 is more likely than 6 or 9. But it's tough to really gauge this team again because they're going to be so young and the schedule is just so tough. So right now, kind of a wide gap there between 6 and 9 wins. Again, that's just the regular season. We're just looking at these 12 games. That would not include a potential bowl game or even an SEC championship game, which I don't see this team getting there. So again, 2019, I think, might be a little bit of a, not a down year. I think this team will still be good. I just think with the schedule, record-wise, it might be a little bit of a down year. Or who knows? Maybe they still get to 8-4, and that's not a bad year. And again, I think this team will be probably a top 25 team. But with this schedule, getting to 10 wins, getting to a potential playoff game, or even a New Year's Six game, I think that's going to be really tough to do. So I'm going to say, again, between 6 and 9 wins. But this future is very bright. If you're a Texas A&M fan and you go 7-5 this year, don't think that that's a bad thing and Jimbo needs to be fired and what is going on with this program. Just be prepared for that, because I have a feeling something like that's going to happen. But with Kellen Mond back in 2020 and all the young talent that they will have, this team might just be a playoff contender in 2020. Something to watch. Definitely a program, again, that is headed in the right direction. Thank you for watching this video. If you're an SEC football fan, please subscribe to the channel. Leave us your thoughts down in the comments below. And for the latest in SEC football, keep it right here.